Well, hey everybody, and welcome back. This is a baking video. We're doing Grandma's cookbook, and it's going to be shortbread. So I hope you enjoy it. Here we go. So it's a really limited stuff. It's called Scotch shortbread. It has flour, salt, a confectioner's sugar, and butter. And it's really a lot of easy stuff. Yeah, except for trying to cream the butter. Now, you're supposed to let the butter sit out and get really, really soft, but I am impatient and just when I want to do something, I just do it. I've always baked this way. It's not the way you're supposed to do it. The butter did sit out for a little bit, but not long enough. So I tend to just smish it until it's doing what I need it to do. And the recipe just has you creaming the butter, I think it's 3/4 of a cup of butter. That I ended up doing a little bit more of a cup of butter, because I ended up, 1.25 cups, I think it was. I ended up melting some butter to add in later because it was just too dry of a mix. And I think that happens. Some of these recipes are just not gonna fly. And shortbread is really dry. And it came out like that. It was a very dry recipe. So I'm playing around with this. It's gonna go through. I may speed it up. We shall see. I think it's good to see how long it took to do this. The thing is, let the butter melt. Let the butter get at room temperature. Bring it out a little earlier. Don't be like me and be impatient. So you're supposed to take the dry ingredients and put it into something and mix it and make sure that it's well mixed. Nowadays, I don't have the patience to do that. So I put in the salt in with the butter and mixed that. It was only, I think, a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And mix that in, and now I'm just scraping down the sides and trying to make everything a little bit more softer. It isn't, I don't think I would do this recipe again. At least not the way that was. It was a very, I don't know, it was uneventful. And I never noticed it before, but this recipe had you put it into a pie pan, which I thought was different. I don't remember doing that before. I thought we made shortbread cookies, but who knows? There are addendums to the recipe that uses that basic recipe, the flour, confectioner's sugar, salt, and butter, and then does other things with it. Like they suggest putting in brown sugar instead of the confectioner's sugar, and you get some other cookie. So a lot of the recipes in the cookbook is like that you're going to use the base recipe, but you substitute or you add in something else, and you end up giving it a whole different cookie. Now that's what these are supposed to be. They're supposed to be cookies. That's the section I got them out of. And I don't know why they want you to put it into a pie plate. It made no sense to me, but I did it anyway. Actually, I put it in a cake plate. There you go. Because I didn't do the pie plate. I suppose I should have. Whatever. So now it's flour, 1.5 cups of flour, and let me see if I can remember how much confectioner's sugar. I think it was 1/2 cup of confectioner's sugar. If you stop the video in the beginning, it'll have it, and I may, if I can remember, I'll put it in the show more section on the video. Now, here's the point where I'm thinking something is just not right with this because it was really dry. And it's, it's not a dough, and that's what it sort of indicates that it's going to be a dough. And I just felt like there is just something terribly wrong. So I figured maybe I didn't estimate out the amount of butter correctly. So I go and get some more butter, put it in one of my little containers. See, even with my mixing it like this, thinking, well, maybe if I get the sides down, it'll get moisture. But it didn't. It was just all dust. You would not have clumped anything out of that. So I'm going to go get some more butter. I think I used about 2 tablespoons more that I melted in the microwave. And it will end up being added to the mix, and then it'll be moving on a lot quicker than it is right now. This is the longest part. I would love to know if you guys are enjoying the cooking sections of this, because to me cooking can be an art. Yes, I think so. I enjoy watching cooking stuff. I love the British baking show. Oh my God. And my husband's addicted to it too. And now they have the Christmas show, which I've not seen that one before. And I don't know if that's on a Prime, Hulu. I don't know. Remember, it's not Netflix, but Netflix has the British baking show regular seasons. But there's another one, the Christmas ones. It could be on Netflix, yeah. They do have others, but there's like a full season of holiday baking, and they have Americans in there. By the way, one of the things that really I noticed with shows, especially the reality shows, the British reality show, British baking show, those people in there, the contestants, are so nice to each other. I thought that was so wonderful. It's something that I enjoyed. I love the fact that they were nice to each other. The kids' baking shows, too, they're nice to each other. They're not cutthroat, which I liked, and I wish the producers would realize that. So do you like baking videos? Let me know in the comments below. And if you watch the British baking show, let me know which is your favorites. I just love them. I love the underdogs, the ones that are really trying, and everybody goes around and helps them. I just find I don't know. I think I need that in my life. I need to see that. Things have been yucky. See how the dough is coming together now? See, like, I am just, yeah. So sometimes you got to go with your gut feeling on it. It wasn't measurements or one thing, but the reality is what the reality is. So having a little more butter to just bring everything together again was what it needed. Somebody's going to say it's probably because I didn't let the butter sit out, but I think it's more than that, because it wasn't enough moisture. Okay. So now we take it, and it tells you to get an 8-inch or 9-inch pie dish. Put the dough in the pie dish, bring it along the sides, and then to cut it into bars, which I just found that a little odd. And I'm getting a little overzealous with that. So my hands are washed, just in case somebody's testing me. I didn't film every part. I'm scraping the bowl to get everything, all the goodness out. As you know, all the goodness sticks to the sides of the pan and the bowl. You know that, right? I don't think they tell you that in home ec, but it's true. Just so you know. Wink, wink. I'm looking at right now, why it's taking so long, is I'm just rereading it to make sure I understood exactly what it's saying. So I'm getting a cake pan out. I do have a pie pan, but the cake pan was right there, and I thought, oh, I'm going to make bars out of it. I'm going to do it this way. So take everything in, plop it into the cake pan, and then I'm going to be smushing it down and trying to make it come up the sides because it said to pinch off the sides. It didn't have anything that you added to it, you know? Like I said, it had different recipes underneath it that you can use from the base recipe, but it didn't say add cherry pie filling or add jelly. No, it didn't say that. So I decided to go with this, and we shall reap the rewards of our baking endeavor. I chose this one. I like shortbread. When I go and if I go to the bakery and buy cookies, I like getting the shortbread ones. So I thought it's an easy recipe. I wanted to have something up for this week because I've promised myself I was going to do more videos and I was going to try to do my own creative spin on it. I try to think about all the things that people say you need to think about what your audience wants. Well, I don't know. I have no idea. I know what I like. So I think I'm going to go with that one. And hopefully I build an audience. That's how I'm going to do it. So being that it's fall here in Arizona, it's the only time that we really can do any heavy baking or cooking. And this is one of the first years in a long time that the holidays come around and I feel like participating in some holiday endeavors. It used to be really big on baking and cooking and doing all sorts of things during the holidays. So this is how I decided to do bars. I mean, if you're doing it in a pie plate, how else can you do bars? It's not a straight pan, so I did that. And now I'm going to put it into a 325 preheated oven. I had the oven preheating already. And I started it for 20 minutes because it says 25 to 30 minutes. So I started it for 20 minutes. There it is. I thought I'd show it to you. There's 20 minutes and 325. And now I'm taking it out to take a peek at it. And it seemed to me it should have been a little bit more. So I stuck it back in for another 5 more minutes. I went for the 25. I think after that it was starting to get a little touch of brown. I didn't want it to burn. See, there it is. And it's so dry. So hubby said that maybe putting some jelly on it. And we have some preserves from a friend that we bought at one of the craft fairs. And I think that's going to work better.